So the objective that we will be covering today is mainly we're going to do modeling. So the applications of modeling, like using piecewise functions. So what we're going to do is using piecewise functions. We're going to work on absolute value functions. Absolute value functions. The skills that we'll be covering is the GDC skills, the graphic calculators, the GDC. The problems that I'm going to take, they will be like mainly from the general observation, the type of question that are assessed. So this will be mainly for your AI modeling chapter. Now, what exactly is assessed? Like, what is expectation from the DP is that you should be able to firstly comprehend a modeling activity or modeling task. Now, let us say that if I pick up a single event of, let's say, throwing a marble from top of a cliff, and then this lands up on the ground. And now it is assumed that it follows a quadratic path, and they have given us certain coordinates. So let's say this coordinate, and this coordinate has been given. Let's say this coordinate is 1, 20. This is 5, 16. And this is, let's say, 8, 6. And what is expected is that you find out an equation for this trajectory. And of course, after that, you have to find out at what time it lands on the ground, assuming that the height, suppose this height becomes 0. So that you say that, like, okay, the equation is, let's say, for a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c. General quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c, and it passes through 3 coordinates. Now, since it passes through the 3 coordinates, it must fulfill the equation. So now when I take x as, for example, if I take x as 1, my y should be 20. When I take x as 5, my y should be equals to 16. When I take x as 8, y 6. So it's going to be 20 equals to a plus b plus c. Because if I take x as 1 here, 1 here, so a plus b plus c is 20. And when I take x as 5, it's going to be 16 equals to 25a plus 5b and plus c. And the last coordinate is when x is 8, y is 16. So y 6. So 6 equals to 64a plus 8b plus c. So once you got these 3 equations, you have to find out the values of a, b, and c. So how do I find out the values of a, b, and c? So let's just have a look at how do we do this on calculator. So when you go under equation on a calculator, you will get a simultaneous solver. You have to press menu. You go down all the way, you press equation with the execute button, and then press simultaneous, and number of unknowns here are 3. So when you look at number of unknowns are 3. So I'll pick up the problem like the coefficients 1, 1, 1, and 20. And second is 25, 5, 1, and 16. Then you got 64, 8, 1, and 6. So now we got the 3 equations on your calculator. You can just execute it. Now you get the values. We got the A as, so the values that I got is A is -1/3, B is 1, and C is 19.33. So 19.33. So these are the values that we get. If you just scroll down, hopefully you can get the exact decimal answer equivalent, which is 58/3. Now, since we got this, now it'll be very interesting to see how actually my model looks on the graph. So you go onto the graph. How we make use of the graph is basically you go onto the graph. Now you plotted the graph. So I'm just gonna, there are 2 graph functions like dynamic, don't use dynamic. go to the graph. This is something which you like rely for most of the graphing activities. So I'm just deleting some of the existing graphs. Now I'm going to just draw the graph of the same graph that I got. So A is -1/3, -1/3, x squared, because my ax squared, you can see here, b is 1. So if I take b is 1 here, so b is x, and c is basically here 58/3. So 58/3. I'm just going to take this division, 58/3. So this is something you can't see on the graph like easily. Just press zoom and auto, F2 and F5, then you can see the graph. So you can see probably that this is how the motion has been happening. I can just change the view window a little bit.